morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Roserade. So today, we're going to start doing some roundups. You see, it's taken us a couple of weeks, but we finally gotten through all of the big Pokemon from Sword and Shield. But we've still got quite a few that we haven't had a look at. So what we're going to do starting today is have a look, type by type, at all the Pokemon we just haven't had a chance to look at yet. So we'll start off with grass Pokemon, let's go in order, and we'll start off with Durant. Now to be fair, 110 HP on a basic is in line with Zapdos, that's fairly high, and a retreat cost of 1 means you can use stuff like a skateboard, which is really nice, gets around special conditions. But really, it is about the attack for this. And it's alright, 1 grass, 1 colourless energy, 30 damage, but if you've got Durant on your bench, 90 damage. And doing 90 for 2 energy is pretty gosh darn good. But having to take up 2 of your 6 spaces on the field might be a little bit awkward for this. Now we've also got the attack cost here. Grass on a colourless, it's not the worst ever. I mean, if you use counter gain, if you're behind on prizes, that'll do it quite nicely. Not to mention that we can use that new Rillaboom that's coming out, which lets you accelerate 2 grass energy from your deck to one of your Pokemon, although you're then using the Rillaboom, and then you've also got 2 Durant that need to be out in order to use it. It gets kind of awkward. But it's still a decent little attack. You do need to be able to accelerate the energy. But 90 damage for 2 energy on a single prize Pokemon is quite nice. It'll take out your evolving Pokemon, but even up to things like Jirachi and Malamar, there are plenty of Pokemon with 90 HP or less that do see a rather large amount of play. Though one of my biggest worries about this is that you're not really one-hit KOing everything that's weak. So if we take something like Stonejourner V, who's already proven to be a pretty good card, well, Stonejourner V is coming in with 220 HP. So even if you use a Vitality Band to put this up to 100 and it doubles to 200, you're still not actually getting a KO here, and that is a little bit sad. In a pre-release, if you can pull multiple Durant, it's going to be amazing, and I do like the attack in terms of a low energy, decent attack, but I don't think it does enough damage for the investment you're putting in. But maybe we'll have more luck with Maractus. Well, again, you got 110 HP on a basic Pokemon. The retreat cost is 2 here, but we've got Balloon that will still allow you to retreat for free. Now, the first attack, 1 colourless energy, 20 damage, no. There was a time we had Choice Band, and you could be hitting 100 damage with Weakness and Choice Band on a bunch of GXs or EXs and 2-hit KO, and that was awesome. We're not in that format at the moment, it's not good. But we do have a second attack here that we like quite a lot more. Flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage times a number of heads. And if this sounds familiar, it gosh darn well should. This is Malamar EX's attack, Maximar. 1 darkness, 1 colourless energy, flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage times a number of heads. It is literally the same attack, except we swapped out a darkness energy requirement for a grass. We've also lost 70 HP in a format where Pokemon are hitting harder, and that's the real downside of Maractus here. You see, piling energy on is fun, but you got 110 HP, so you ain't lasting very long. That's bad. There's 2 other things that Malamar had that Maractus doesn't, and they are double colourless energy. You see, Maractus is in a format without double colourless energy, and double colourless energy has largely been replaced by triple acceleration energy, which can only be attached to an evolved Pokemon. You are not an evolved Pokemon, so it doesn't work. That's a teensy-weensy bit of a problem. Now, you can still use the aforementioned Rillaboom to get a whole bunch of energy on here, but it's going to be harder to get the energy. Honestly, if you want to pile energy on and do a huge amount of damage, I think the best option we've got is still Whimsicott GX. Now, it might be a stage 1 and it might give up 2 prizes, but you can just pile energy on, you can use triple acceleration energy, and you get to prevent any damage done to it on a coin flip. If you can protect Maractus and keep it alive, this is a phenomenal attack. But the problem is, what's going to happen most of the time is that you're going to pile a bunch of energy on there, and then you're going to get KO'd, and then you're going to have lost the energy, and that's going to be kind of awkward. I mean, maybe you play this with Rillaboom and you just play a bunch of Energy Recycler, which just gets 5 basic energy back into your deck. And then maybe with free Rillaboom, you're attaching 6 energy. You expect to hit 3 and get 180, but you could do a bunch more. But I think that's the only way you're going to really make this a powerhouse. I forgot to tell you what the other thing, incidentally, was that Malamar has that this doesn't. Victini. Just lets you reflip. Now, it's reflipping all of them, but if you've got 6 energy on there and you hit 2 heads, Victini lets you reflip. Without Victini, no. Now, I do need to mention here, I don't always mention it because I don't love it, but we do have Will. Will let you basically say, the first flip will be a heads. The problem is it's your only supporter for the turn, and it only lets you fix 1 coin flip, whereas something like Victini would let you reflip all of them. Hey, how about that Roserade, eh? 120 HP, but it is on a stage 1 here. But we've got a couple fairly useful attacks. First attack, 1 grass energy, 30 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Flip a coin. If heads, they're paralyzed as well. Now, poison in and of itself's not bad, puts 10 damage on your opponent's poison Pokemon between turns, and we've got that Toxicroak now that will allow you to up that by 2, so 1 Toxicroak and it's 3 damage counters between turns, 2 Toxicroak and it's 5 damage counters between turns, etc., etc. It can really add up very, very quickly. And you got a 50% chance of paralysis as well. Now, if you're talking about paralysis, I showed you Pincurchin the other day, which I think is a better option. And in the Pincurchin video, I reminded you about the Kyurem from Unbroken Bonds, which I think is a better option. But if we see this as a single energy attack that does a bit of damage and poisons, and you might get paralysis as well, then all of a sudden I feel quite a lot better about this attack. Now, if you're willing to add another 2 energy on there, you deal 90, heal 30. And I don't know how much I love this. You see, 120 HP isn't gigantic, and you've got a weakness to fire, all these grass Pokemon do, which means all the Welder decks are going to be hitting you for weakness. And it ain't going to take much to do 60 damage with a fire Pokemon when you can essentially be attaching 3 energy per turn. So we're playing the better fire Pokemon, even if they're a little bit more expensive. So the healing 30 is likely to be irrelevant, and the 90 damage, we talked about 90 damage back with Durant. Except if I'm doing 90 damage, I probably want to use Durant. Because the other thing is, this is for a grass and a double colourless. And I told you double colourless has rotated. And sure, this is an evolved Pokemon, so you can use triple acceleration energy, but then by the same token, it lasts for 1 turn and then falls off, and then it's gone, and you're still only hitting 90 damage. I don't think this is good enough. I don't think this second attack will do the trick. Now, if you're just occasionally adding on a triple acceleration energy to hit a bit harder, mostly using the first attack, now that, ladies and gentlemen, I can get completely on board with, but I think this needs to be played for the first attack with the second as a bonus, and I'm not sure this is as good at special conditions as some of the other Pokemon we've seen. And now we need to finish off taking a look at Whimsicott. You see, Whimsicott here, 100 HP on a stage 1 Pokemon, not impressive. And we're not really going to talk about the second attack here, right? 50 damage for 1 grass energy? No. No. When we're evolving up into a stage 1 Pokemon, we expect better. But we do have a really interesting attack, which can be used for just a single colourless energy. What it does, and I haven't actually said yet, but all our translations come from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. That dude is awesome. He's one of our favourites. And I don't mean favourite translators, I mean favourite people. Flip a coin, If heads, your opponent shuffles their active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. Now, I finally get to shout out Beware here, because Beware GX did a similar thing. Now, Beware discarded your opponent's active Pokemon. This shuffles them into their deck. But the important thing here is, this can be used even if your opponent has no bench Pokemon. And of course, if they have no bench Pokemon, what happens? Well, they lose, right? Immediately. Now, compare this to something like Tapu Fini GX, for instance, which had a similar kind of attack. The GX attack, 1 water energy, shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck, but you couldn't do it if your opponent had no bench Pokemon. Now, that was a GX attack, but it was also not on a coin flip. I don't think you could have a GX attack on a coin flip. It would be, well, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, it would be a little bit rude. Now, if you go first, and your opponent has a turn, and ends a turn with just their active Pokemon, you literally have a 50% chance of winning the game there and then. The reality is, it's not going to happen all that often, so no. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not sure I prefer this to Pinsir. Now, to be fair, I'm talking about the Pinsir from Sun and Moon, which has rotated out, but that could do it for 2 colourless energy, and we did have double colourless at the time. Now, it put it into your opponent's hand, but again, it was flip a coin. If heads, you win the game. So your opponent goes first, and if you go second and have only got 1 Pokemon, you could have a go. I love this as an emergency play, and I love the idea of playing this in a deck where you're already playing Ditto Prism Star, and just going, look, I got nothing, so I'm going to evolve my Ditto into my 1 Whimsicott I'm playing just on a Whimsy. Get it? And I'm attaching any energy because it's 1 colourless energy, and I'm playing energy in my deck. And then I flip a coin to win the game. And it doesn't even have to be win the game, right? It could be just, you've got a Pokemon active with 4 energy and no energy on any of your bench, so flip a coin and I take all your energy off and effectively win. And it's worth reminding you at this stage, Tapu Fini did see play. And it did see play for Tapu Storm, the GX attack. Will this see play as a stage 1 when the attack is on a coin flip? Not entirely sure. I love it as a cheeky tech, but is it worth, and it could be with Ditto Prism Star, literally 1 slot in your deck, but it's still using an attack and it still fails on a coin flip, so consider me apprehensive, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. Little roundup of all the grass Pokemon that we've not had a chance to have a chat about yet. So now at this stage, I'd like to know what you think about all of these Pokemon. Which of them is your favourite? Which of them can you see yourself playing in decks? And do you like it when I do a little roundup like this? Or would you prefer I took a little bit longer and went through them in a little bit more detail? Not all cards can be put into a video like this. Some of them I just cannot do them justice. But these ones, they're a little bit simpler and a little bit easier to talk about, which is why we can lump them in. Let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are still fun. A lot of fun. Really fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.